Dow is down 0.31%, nasdaq absolutely flat on the day, S&P down 0.23%, and Russell 2000 also down on the day 0.23%. And here on 11 sectors on top for the day on Friday: energy, technology, basic materials, communication services, utilities. On bottom, real estate, financial, consumer defensive, consumer cyclical. And look at this right here, guys. It was a risk-off move here in the market last week. On top, we got leading the way consumer defensive, energy, healthcare, utilities, and financial. But look at on bottom, a cyclical name taking a big beating last week: real estate, basic materials, communication services, and the big one here, technology. Month to date performance right here. Also, energy leading the way, and then we got financial and utilities, guys. And here's the weekly map, and look at this, guys. Tesla for the week down almost 11%, Amazon down 8%, Meta kind of holding, only down 0.41%, Google down over 5%, Netflix, Disney all down 4 to 5%, and big name like Nvidia down over 5%, AMD same thing, and look at Intel right here, down 10%, and then we also got Microsoft down 4%, and Apple kind of flat, hanging in there, but for how long? And now we're going to look at S&P 500 ETF. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today in this video, we're going to talk about overall stock market. But before we dive into this video, please hit that thumbs up button. That is greatly appreciated, and that really helps out with YouTube algorithm. And if you want to support the channel, get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, 3 days of live trading, live in my Discord, definitely check out the Patreon. I'll leave a link down below in the description. And if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. And now let's get right into it, guys. So we're going to start with weekly chart on S&P 500. Now we know that 430 is a critical support on S&P 500, but look at this, guys. Since October bottom right here, and then this low right here, and that is back in March, we have not actually retested this trend line since then, and now it's actually pulling back, and especially going into next week on Monday. This is the week where we see definitely sell-off in the market. Now looking at the market, it is getting a bit oversold. So yes, there might be a chance of a bounce, but on weekly time frame, whenever you look at the chart and you see 20-week moving average right here, and that is this white line right here, and look at this, it's 438, and SPY trading at 430, barely holding 430. We did actually went under 430 on Friday, and now coming back up and barely holding 430 as a support. So whenever you see, on a weekly time frame, under 20-week moving average right here, that is not bullish in the short term. Now also, this is gonna be a key level to watch right here, with this gap on the daily chart around 423, and also this trend line might be getting tested early as next week. So keep an eye on that right here, but also keep that in mind. On a bounce, you want to watch SPY above, especially this weekly resistance that is around 438 right here, guys. 20-week moving average right here. And now, you cannot ignore this candle on this weekly chart right here. This is a big bearish engulfing candle on this weekly chart with high volume. So we could see a lot more selling in the market. And then let's have a look at daily chart right here. Look at all these gaps. Now, a lot of people are talking about, SPY going back up and filling all these gaps. But also keep that in mind. We do have more gaps down here. One down here and one around 407. So just be careful, buying those dips, because now that we're not finding any buyers. So early as Monday, SPY needs to bounce from 430. Also, it's getting really oversold. Look at this daily chart. RSI getting down to 32. It's not extremely oversold, but it's getting right there close to 30. So at some point, I think before coming down here, maybe Monday, that would be the day, we could see a little bit of a relief rally, a face ripper, possibly back up to, I would say, 435 to 436. And if you're lucky, then watch out for a move up to 438.43 to fill this gap on top. I know a lot of people actually, probably got the dip on Friday right here, thinking about getting this dip around 430, but you gotta keep that in mind. On a weekly time frame, SPY trading below 438, under 20-week moving average right here. So that is not a good signal for the market. So going into next week on Monday, you want to watch this support right here, guys, 430. Now, if there is a gap down on Monday and 430 breaks significantly, then watch out. I mean, this thing will definitely land somewhere around 420 to 423. This gap will get filled. Now, I'm going to post all those expected moves on my X account. So if you are on X, definitely give me a follow, and that link will be down below in the description, and you're going to get all those expected moves, and I'm going to post those probably tonight or tomorrow morning, that is Sunday. So on SPY ETF, 430 is going to be critical support, and we have resistance around 435 to 436, and above that, watch out for this gap right here on top, 438.43. Below 430, selling will continue all the way down to 423 to 420 right here. And at some point, you're going to see this trend line getting tested here on S&P 500. On Triple Q, we got a flat day on Friday. We saw a bit of a rally. I think it was up close to 1%, and then everything faded and pretty much closing at the low of the day right here. And now it's trading below, just like SPY, under 20-week moving average right here, 363, and that is this white line right here, guys. So on Triple Q, it's not looking that great. Weekly uptrend also not holding anymore. Cannot get this breakout right here. You can see multiple times getting rejected right here, and now looks like we might be coming down all the way down to 332. Now it's not gonna happen in one day, and it's going to take some time because a lot of big names, especially mega names, can actually bounce, and if that happens, you're going to see a lot more chop here on Triple Q before possibly coming down and closing some of these gaps to the downside. Now on the weekly time frame, guys, I mean, yes, it's getting really oversold. I mean, look at this, multiple times this week hitting lower Bollinger Band and holding, barely holding right here. So if you're bullish on Triple Q, you want to see it above, especially this white line right here, and that is around 363. Now Triple Q stays under 363, and that is kind of in line with this gap. So I would not be surprised to see some sort of a bounce, a face ripper rally back up to 363 to 365 to close this gap on top, and then followed by a big dump off all the way down to 355, and then possibly even lower. So next week, this is gonna be a critical support right here, 355 for Triple Q, and just below that 350, and then there is no support here. This thing can land all the way down here, and that is around 332, this massive gap up, and that was for Nvidia, guys. That big earnings, and this thing gapped up, and now we got a massive gap down here. Now to the upside, like I said, watch 363 to 365 right here, resistant on Triple Q. We can get past those levels, then watch out for a move all the way up to 370 plus on Triple Q. So now we got high interest rate, and it's going to stay high for a long time, at least for the next 2 years. So Jay Powell not cutting anything, at least this year. And market, I think, was pricing in cutting probably this year at the end, and not even raising anymore. And now we're getting one more rate hike, possibly on next meeting. And guess what? If the rates are staying higher and longer, it's not good for small caps because a lot of regional banks are within Russell 2000, and if this thing actually takes a hit, the market is going to take a hit also, guys. I mean, mega names are holding up still, but I'll make that video on mega names later on. So make sure you watch that because some of these gaps that we have on those mega names to the downside. I mean, imagine Nvidia getting down to 300, guys. That's going to take a big chunk out of triple Q, S&P 500, and we could see a lot more selling in the market. So on IWM, extremely oversold, cannot even bounce back up to close this gap around 180. On Friday, we saw a bit of a bounce, but everything again into a lower low and closing pretty much at the low of the day, and that is at 176.67, and not too far away from this gap, which I think Monday you're going to see IWM filling this gap close to 176.24. And if we cannot hold right here as a support, the next stop right here 171.56, and this is going to be critical on IWM now that this head and shoulder pattern playing out, and a full measured move on this head and shoulder pattern takes IWM all the way down to $162. So going into Monday, guys, watch this gap fill right here as a support 176, and to the upside now we got resistance at 178, and then the gap above around 180. And only if this thing can break above 180, we also have the neckline, and that is around 181. And then we also have resistance at 183 and then 184.29 right here, white line 20 SMA on this daily chart. On Dow Jones ETF, it's down 0.29% and it's looking extremely bearish going into next week. I was hoping for a close above 342, and that is that big support on the weekly time frame, but looks like we're not even holding 340. This whole rally, I mean, we got a small tiny rally on Friday. I mean, it was kind of a fake rally. We saw a bit of a gap up here in this market, and then everything just faded, and this one now below 340, and that opens the door to this gap. I mean, it's not going to get filled Monday unless there is a black swan event, which is unlikely. But below 340, keep that in mind. DIA will come down and fill this gap at some point just under 332. Now, to the upside, you need to see DIA above 340 and then possibly going up to retest 343, blue line 5 SMA, and only above that, you're going to see this gap getting filled just around 344. We also have strong resistance at 346. If you're bullish on DIA, wait for a breakout above 346, and if you're bearish on DIA, you want to watch that DIA stays under, especially 343, blue line 5 SMA, and then you are going to see this Bollinger Band actually coming down, and possibly in next few days, DIA coming down and closing this gap just under 332. On VIX is down close to 2%, and you cannot ignore this dip buying on VIX right here. I mean, just like I said in my last video that it's getting a bit frothy, you're going to see a pullback. Yes, we got a pullback. I think it was down close to 8% or maybe even more. But look at those, dip buyers buying the dip and pushing the price higher, and now trading above $17, and that is bullish going into next week on Monday. So VIX, you want to see VIX getting crushed under 15, and if that happens, market will bounce. Now, if this thing actually can hold above $15.60 right here on a pullback, 5-day moving average right here, rising, and we pretty much got a bounce off of this 5-day moving average right here on VIX. If this thing can hold, I would say $15.60 to $16, you're going to see at some point VIX retesting $18, this big resistance right here. And if this thing actually breaks 18, guys, definitely there is going to be more selling in the market, and this one definitely 100% getting up to 20 above $18. As long as VIX can hold 18 as a support, you're going to see $20 on VIX. But watch this multiple rejection at 18, and now again this thing getting up to 18. So we might see a massive rejection. In that case, watch out for those dips in the market. If this thing cannot break 18, you're going to see a flush all the way back down to 16 and then 15.60 down to even $16. On dollar, it's up again 0.21% and looks like it's going to retest this high at least at some point next week, and that is around 106. So you want to watch that, guys, right here. 106 can break and hold. This thing will take off and you're going to see a lot more selling in the market, or we could see a rejection from 106 and this thing can come back all the way down to, I would say, bottom of this channel, and that is around 105. And then we also have support around 104.72 on dollar. But watch this resistance right here. I mean, we all thought that TNX getting that double top, and guess what we got? A massive breakout, and that is why market also, especially growthy names, getting that big hit, because TNX getting that big breakout, and it wasn't actually a double top. So on dollar, watch this resistance right here, close to 106, and the support around right here, 105. On TNX, it's taking a breather on Friday, down 0.94%, nothing big. So Monday morning, you want to watch for a pullback if there is one on TNX, down here around 43.70. And that should hold right here. I mean, you can see multiple, times going back up to this high and getting rejected, and finally getting a gap up and a breakaway gap here, guys. So massive gap up, and now we're pulling back and possibly will close this gap around 43.70. And if that holds right here, definitely that is bullish on TNX, and you're going to see a lot more upside. And we're only pulling back within this upper Bollinger Band, and that is at 44.67. And now we have a rising 5-day moving average right here, sitting at 43.90. So this is going to be a strong support right here around 43.70 to 43.90 on TNX. And then if TNX can hold right here, definitely you are going to see a lot more upside. But below that, watch out for more downside below this support, and I'm not expecting this support to break next week right here, 43.70, unless we get some really good catalyst for the market. Then watch out for a dump off, and this thing can come off quite a bit. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated going into next week on Monday night.